I call this regular board meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Brenda, would you please do the roll call?
Sure. President Klein-Jerome,
Here.
Vice President Postian,
Here.
Director Beck,
Here.
Director Potts,
Here.
Director Ward,
Here.
Director Barnes,
Here.
Director Hayes.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Director Beck, would you please read the mission and vision statement?
Mission statement. The Davenport Community School District is dedicated to growing excellence in academics, the arts, and athletics for every child by ensuring the highest quality education in an environment shaped by our diverse community, preparing our students to be lifelong learners and productive citizens. Vision statement. Education that challenges conventional thinking, prepares all students to compete in a global society, and inspires our students, parents, staff, and community to answer the question, what if?
Thank you. Director Hayes, would you please read the guiding principles?
I'll be happy to. Opportunity. We provide abundant opportunities to empower students to reach their full potential academically, creatively, and socially. Collaboration. We foster an environment that allows students, families, and community stakeholders to come together for the betterment of our students' education and future. Transparency. We share relevant and important information with our students, families, and the community to maintain open and productive communication.
Thank you. Superintendent Schneckloff, would you please read the goal tie-in?
Tonight's goal number 1, enhance student learning, and number 4, foster the innovative use of finance, facilities, and staff.
Thank you. We're going to make a little switch in the agenda because some of our student board members are actually receiving scholarships. So I will turn it over to the superintendent for the introduction of new Davenport School Foundation director and scholarship recipients.
Yes. We are very proud to introduce our new director of foundation, Mr. Steve Aarons, who is a very proud graduate. I'm going to guess 1993 from Davenport West. And he's a staple in the community in terms of philanthropy, working with students, after-school programs, Common Core, the list goes on and on. So we're honored that you are our new foundation director. So if, with this lovely audience, can you help me welcome Mr. Aarons to the Davenport School family? Before we do that, tonight is an excellent celebration of student success. This time of year, we review scholarship applications, and I'm always blown away by the things that our students do and accomplish in between this brief time from 6 to 18. And the students that are sitting in front of us have accomplished so many things, bettered our community, moved their programs forward, and are overall just wonderful human beings. And so tonight is a celebration of all of your hard work, students. And I just couldn't be more proud of you after seeing the work that you've done. It's outstanding. So thank you for that, Mr. Aarons. I turn it over to you. Thank you.
Let's see. There we go. I'll get used to this. Well, good evening. Glad to be here. I think it's really cool to have started on May 1st in this new position, and for this event to be right out of the chute, this event to be the one that I get to sort of be introduced at. I couldn't be more proud of this class of scholarship recipients. I just think it's awesome. And as a product of Davenport Schools, I'm honored to join the Davenport Schools Foundation, and I look forward to working alongside administration, educators, community leaders, and supporters to provide meaningful educational opportunities that empowers every student to succeed. As we all know, education is the cornerstone of a thriving community, and I am excited to help drive resources for students and schools. Congratulations.
that on? No, great, thank you. I'm here as a committee member for the Scholarship Committee for the Davenport School Foundation, and I'm here for the very happy purpose of introducing you individually to the students who have won some very outstanding scholarships from the Davenport School Foundation. I'm going to read the names. Not everybody is here, but I want to read the name anyway and tell you what scholarship that individual received. But most of them are here. The first is Cameron Benson, who I do not believe is here. That is, oh, I'm sorry you are. And what we're going to do is have you come up, if you would, and process over and then return to your seat. I'm sorry, I forgot. Cameron Benson, CHS Hall of Honor, Jim Hester Scholarship. Next is Kylie Brewster. Kylie is the CHS Hall of Honor Juergens Scholarship. Next is William Brown, Sean McQueen Trade Scholarship. Next is Connor Buchanan, and that is the John and Hane Fujiwara Weiss Music Scholarship and the Carl and Cynthia Herring Memorial Scholarship. Next is Ronan Carr. That is the Una E. England Memorial Scholarship. Anna Marie Chavez. Quad City Community Foundation Jason Blair Roberts Memorial Scholarship and the CHS Hall of Honor Groenboom Scholarship. Ben Cox. William Bill Fries Memorial Scholarship. Yavin Defoe. The Dr. Harold Kaiser Memorial Scholarship. Charlie Ebeling. Jerry Juergens Athletic Academic Scholarship. Allison James. Nancy J. Zubara Scholarship. Adrian Jones. CHS Hall of Honor Meyer Scholarship. Claire Justin. CHS Class of '79 Scholarship. Ellison Kern. CHS Class of '64 Future Teacher Scholarship and Jack King Music Scholarship. Ashley Lockey. Edith Hoffman Scholarship and CHS Hall of Honor Kniep Family Scholarship. Seth Lewis. Quad City Community Foundation Jason Blair Roberts Memorial Scholarship. Sky Lortz Simpson. John C. Lee Memorial Scholarship. Amaya McNeil. Nancy J. Zubara Scholarship and Carl and Cynthia Herring Memorial Scholarship. Greta Misner. Darrell D. Spons Memorial Scholarship. Dylan Moeller. Jane Grady Memorial Scholarship, Jerry Juergens Athletic Academic Scholarship, Quad City Community Foundation, Michaela Rose Duval Memorial Scholarship, and CHS Hall of Honor Fisher at Large Scholarship. Claire O'Melia. DHS Class of 1959 Scholarship. Carter Richter. CHS Hall of Honor Fisher at Large Scholarship. Haley Ross. Davenport Central Jerry Tallman, Women's Athletic Scholarship. Tyler Ryan. William Bill Fries Memorial Scholarship. Kristen Santos. Tracy Matthews Memorial Scholarship. Lauren Valeroy. Quad Cities Community Foundation Mary Elizabeth Sievert Scholarship. Emily Wynn. John and Hene Fujiwara Weiss Music Scholarship. Those are all of the Central Student Scholarships. The next is a Mid-City Scholarship, Pharaoh Davis. And that's the Sean McQueen Trade Scholarship. Next are the scholarships awarded to North High School students. The first is Ivana Almond, Daniel Weiss Warrior Scholarship, Arison Barnett, Quad City Community Foundation Clyde Mayfield Memorial Scholarship, Camden Bennett, Marie Link Powell Scholarship, Cohen Calloway, Catherine Bell Tate Scholarship, Catherine Edwards, Dale and Carolyn Postian Endowed Scholarship, Samantha Farnsworth, DSF Scholarship for Nursing, Daniel Galvin Carlos, Sean McQueen Trade Scholarship, Darielle Garrels, Davenport Schools Foundation Minority Scholarship, Gazelle Muhammad, Mary Elizabeth McCrate Means Memorial Scholarship, Reese Weewarts, Darrell D. Spahns Memorial Scholarship and North High Music Scholarship, Xavier Roach, Robert and Doris Blackburn Technical Scholarship. That concludes the scholarships to students from North. Next are the scholarships for the students from West High School. Roxana Sherriz Rangel, Sean McQueen Trade Scholarship and Larry Nelson Memorial Scholarship. Rachel Ehlers, Friends of West High School Scholarship. William Evans, Brian Kepi Memorial Scholarship, Emmeline Gollinghorst, Dr. Lisa Arbisser Scholarship, Lily Gustoff, Susan Perry and Stan Goodyear Academic Scholarship, Colin Scott Dowell, Betty Nelson Career Technical Scholarship, Adam Shipley, Quad City Community Foundation Rajendran Family Foundation Fund for Davenport Scholarship, and Jack L. Hudson Testimonial Scholarship. Zachary Smith, Jan Mutum Educator Opportunity Scholarship, and Juliana Torres. George E. Weiss Career Technical Scholarship. And that concludes the presentation of scholarships. And with the board's permission, may at the end of any comments, leave as a group.
Well, first of all, before you leave, we'd like you all to come up and we're going to get a group picture with the board. Congratulations. Outstanding. It's amazing how many people, how many of you have earned scholarships, and the amount of scholarships is unbelievable. So congratulations. Anybody else want to comment?
I would like to extend an extreme thank you to the foundation. None of this would be possible without your hard work, your dedication to our students and families to ensure that this opportunity is always there for them. If you are a foundation board member or you are a scholarship scorer or anybody directly related to a scholarship, would you please stand up and be recognized by this room? Thank you. Without you, none of this would be possible, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. So now, kids, this is our favorite part. We're going to jam right in here. Miss Ott's going to take our picture, and then you're free to go get ice cream with your parents or loved ones.
Pick up your signs on the way out for the yard signs. They were right there where you came in.
Unless you guys have really quick. Okay, we're going to move on and to student board members. Is this their last meeting?
I think it is.
Brenda, is this their last meeting? One more. Okay. Yay.
Hi everyone, long time no see. Um, so at Central, our Blue Devil Productions had an amazing show of Hairspray, May 1st to the 4th. The crowds were amazing. We had multiple full houses for that showing, so that was great. We also won awards through the Iowa High School Musical Theater Awards program. We got outstanding overall performance for cast and crew, and a special recognition for our ensemble, outstanding achievement in a principal role for Elena Harper, Emily Wynn, Ryan Driscoll, Micah Roldan, Bailey Parker, KJ Wright, and Ellery Hurley. Bailey Parker also won a Spotlight Medley performance at the awards, and Micah, Emily, and KJ winning a Triple Threat Award from them as well. Our band, choir, and orchestra had their state contest this past weekend, with our orchestra receiving Division I scores from all three judges. That's the first time that they've received ones from all three judges in a long time, so shout out orchestra. Band and choir also received ones as well. And our decision day was also a success. There was a great turnout of students in attendance, as well as some awesome prizes won through a raffle. So that's what happened in Central.
At West, we have a couple MAC champions for track. I want to congratulate Brady Bells for getting first in the 110 hurdles, and Nolan Dempsey for placing first in the MAC in shot put and discus for track. Our girls soccer team has their senior night tomorrow versus Assumption at home. We had a successful completion of our AP testing. And also, some of our football players at West have been going around to elementary schools to help with reading buddies. And in the future, towards the end of the school year, we will have kids going to help field days at schools.
Okay, it's been a while, so I do have a double-sided paper. The Ed Rising speech I gave back in March was chosen to go to nationals in Orlando. We have a new after-school club called Active Academy. It gives you a chance to build connections and positive friendships. It's every Wednesday, and you get to play fun games in the gym. It's ran by Mr. Calloway. Our urban farm students will be harvesting their hydroponics soon. And we were able to plant over 100 tomatoes to give to the NAACP, which was just picked up last Wednesday. 4 of our students were chosen to have their artwork displayed at the QC Arts throughout the month of April. 2 of those students received awards for their work. Our ABC Countdown Spirit Week has been really successful. Today was Music Day for M, and then tomorrow is Neon Day for N. Our podcast partnership with Beth Campbell from Author Studio has been going amazing. I've had the chance to sit down and talk with her to work on our podcast, and it's been really great. It's in the editing process, so hopefully it will be out soon. And then we have a new CBE class, History in Hollywood, ran by Mr. Defoe. He says it's going super well, so that's great. We celebrated support staff, teachers, and school nurses. We appreciate them so much and all they do for us. They were given goodie bags. Senior Decision Day was a success. We're always so happy to acknowledge our seniors. And then we have a senior luncheon on Thursday provided by Grandview Church. Graduation prep has been going well. And lastly, we have a field day the 23rd, and it's also the seniors' last day.
All right, like we know, our district is very busy. So I'll start off with some more stuff happening at Central. Seniors Honors Night is Wednesday night. Tomorrow will be the John Deere Scholarship Banquet honoring those recipients from the Davenport schools. So that's going to be fun. Flip football is happening on this Friday, the 16th at Brady Street Stadium, 6 p.m. Tickets are $5, so come out and support. So, Mental Health Week was last week. We had several theme days like Gray Out, Inside Out for your feelings, and how like talking about your feelings can often make it like relieve the burden of them. And then districts is next week, next Thursday, state qualifying meet. I'm sure we'll have some great showings, and I'm sure a lot of our district will be going there. I know our 4x1 will for sure. And then NHS is selling senior kisses this week for $3 if any students are here and they want to like wave a final goodbye to their favorite seniors. NHS is having that. So yeah.
Hey, so at we also had decision day at North, and you know it's pretty funny because they had comically large microwaves they were giving away, and it was like my friend won one. He like carried it out. It's really nice. Oh, it's nice that they give those though. And then we have awards night on Thursday, and we got a picnic, and then we were done on May 23rd. So sounds good. Most people I've heard did well in the AP exam, they think, but it was obviously a stressful last 2 weeks. So those are done though. Or wait, well, is it still the week? Yeah. Oh dang, it's this week. But we did for teacher appreciation week. We gave treats to all the teachers. Our Joy Club did that, and teachers had like a whole like array of different stuff like fruits, and we had some of our students come in and make some cookies, and they definitely liked that. And yeah.
All right. North is celebrating mental health awareness with a Spirit Week. Today was Wear Your Favorite Band t-shirt, and tomorrow is Tie-Dye Day, I believe. North Drama Club is hosting its final drama banquet actually tomorrow, so and Wednesday, the 14th, is the Scott graduation, so congrats to my dual enrollment kids. We earned it. We're doing a graduation walk on the 28th, and as a senior, I'm so excited because I get to see my little brother. We received a couple musical theater awards for our Sweeney Todd program. We received an overall outstanding performance, outstanding ensemble, and outstanding student orchestra. Specific awards, we had Reese Rewerts as Sweeney Todd, he a standing achievement in a principal role, Carter Owens as Anthony Hope, Millie Jimenez as Miss Lovett, Eli Swales as Tobias Ragg, and Avenu Moyman as Judge Turpin, and Mary Von Spinebrook as Joanna. As far as our elementary schools, they're counting down the days with the alphabet, and preschool and kindergarten registration is now open, so do it early so you can enjoy your summer. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is May is School Board Recognition Month, and before I turn it over to the superintendent, I would like to recognize our student board members. You are faithful about coming, putting in your time, thoughtful input into our discussions, and I want to tell you thank you for everything you have done this year.
There is a certificate at each one of your seats tonight. It looks like this. The theme for this year's board appreciation coming from Iowa Association of School Board is a lighthouse. And so if you think about where are we going, keeping us from danger, leaving the harbor, all of those things, the symbol of a lighthouse is one of those, and that is exactly what our school board is. Director Barnes, your work on LCAC, Breaking Barriers, Portrait of a Graduate, and just your involvement in the community helps shape our narrative and the goals for our boards. As we are attempting to accomplish some huge feats, you are there to help push those initiatives across. Your knowledge of post-secondary and career ready is extremely knowledgeable at this table and has helped move our conversations forward and enrich our conversations.
And you've also helped usher us through some difficult times in terms of scheduling. What does it look like in post-secondary? And for that, we are forever grateful. Director Potts, you come with an institutional knowledge. Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. I almost wrote that down and handed it to you. He's going to say this. But let me give you an example of what I mean. I was on the phone with a retired principal the other day, and I shared this story with Director Potts. And I was trying to figure out why was this principal so successful at hiring. And that principal, her name is Sherry Simpson-Schultz, she had successfully mentored a handful of the principals in our district right now. And each one of those principals are almost always fully staffed. And it doesn't matter if they're in a difficult building or not. And she said, I learned everything I learned about recruiting teachers and keeping people and taking care of my human beings from Bruce Potts. So I want you to think the institutional knowledge that is being carried down, that's what you bring to our district and to this table. On the Long Range Facility Committee, your leadership, standing up in front of that committee, sharing where we are and where we're going is invaluable. And it's automatic trust. And for that, we are grateful. Director Poston, your work on our, let's see here. The list is this long. The Agenda Committee, Finance, Long Range, LULAC, NAACP. They help make decisions that move our district forward in a very positive way. You lead with confidence, fortitude, and that's exactly what we need at this board table. You are very diligent. You are a passionate board member that wants our kids to be engaged, taking the full range of things that are available in Davenport schools, and you're a constant champion in our community for our students and for the programs in this district, and for that we are grateful. President Karen Klein Jerome, if you thought Director Poston's list was long, this is even longer. But again, bargaining, finance, LULAC, NAACP, policy, I think they're on the both of you are on the Scott County Commission. I could just keep going and going and going. And not only that, if you go to any musical, they'll be there. And Karen will be there, not only because she loves to support our students, but because she loves being around Davenport schools, because that's where she's been all of her life. One of the greatest things that you bring to this table is stability, financial stability. You at the bargaining table with that team over there brings confidence to move us forward. We have, over the last 3 years, have been in the top 5 in settling our contracts in one day without an attorney, and that allows us to move things forward and be very aggressive in recruiting teachers and retaining teachers. And to your profession that you retired, that is an excellent compliment. And for that, we are forever grateful. Ms. Hayes, fire and ice. That's what I said. I told Lynn, I sat down next to her, fire and ice. When things are fire, Linda is ice. She immediately calms us down, brings a cool, calm collective to every situation that she's in. And I believe you are directly connected to God. The work that you do in our church and our community and all of those things, I believe you're being led by a higher power, and I think you believe it too. One of the things that you bring to this table is a pulse on this community that's unmatched. You oftentimes call me, and it's about a situation, it's about someone's not getting tutored, these different things, and oftentimes it leads to a bigger issue that we're having in the district that needs to be resolved. And that's because of the pulse that you have on our community. And you are seen as an absolute leader and a giant in this community, and for that we are thankful. Jake Ward, you're not on any committees, ... That's what I have in my notes. Yet, as you are in virtual land, you are coming in, you're asking the right questions, you are committed to our process, listening to you sit down with our executive team, going through the community with you. We know that there are big things ahead of you. I will never forget this, and I think everybody in here knows what I'm going to say. In your interview with the school board, you symbolize what it means to be a school board member in Davenport schools. When you said, the grass isn't always greener somewhere else, it's greener where you water it. And I know that filled every single one of our buckets up and wanted us to make us work harder. And for that, Jake, we are thankful. Dr. Beck, you are on policy, LCAC, and an ingrained figure in the community as your children are going through the school. You are highly tuned into your community. You know and understand the people around you. You represent the people around you, and you're fiercely advocate for them. You have a mixture of highly analytical Dr. Beck and a mixture of very inquisitive. You want to ask questions. And those two things together make you an advocate at this board table for the community that you represent. And for that, we are thankful. School board, man, I don't have the words to describe the human beings that are sit up here. If we count up your scholarships, the medals that you win, the plays that you're in, the advocacy that you do in all of your schools, I can go right down the list. I've interacted with every single one of you this year in some form or fashion, and it's always excellence. Whether sitting in the back of an AP class, whether watching you earn $150,000 worth of scholarships, all the way down the list, organizing things at your school, just incredible. People say to me all the time, are we worried about the future? And without hesitation, I answer, no, we're going to be fine because we're leaving it in the hands of students like you. You are the future. You are the leaders. You advocate for your community, your school, and most of all, you did it with respect. And that's one thing that I really appreciate about every single one of you. You sat at this table, you became a team member, you brought value, and at the end of the day, we are a team and we move forward. And I believe that because of you and you being here, we were able to successfully navigate a lot of things, get a lot of student input. One thing that sticks out to me, I remember when we were talking about attendance this year, and you guys were shocked. And you immediately went back to your schools and started work on attendance. I can remember that conversation that we had. And I'm very proud to say to you today that as of last week, our elementary schools are better than the state average in chronic absenteeism. And we started moving that forward. You started highlighting it here at the board. You started moving things forward. And for that, we are thankful. And so, voted members, assigned members, is with the greatest respect that I thank you for the work that you put in for your community. Your name will forever be etched in stone as a board member in this school year. Thank you so much.
Next up, board reports.
No, ma'am.
Anybody have a board report? Director Hayes? Kind of.
Sort of, kind of, yes. I did the Atom training, or watched the simulation at West High School, which was absolutely awesome. Kudos to West staff that put that together, the nurses. I mean, everything was so synchronized in real life. The only thing we had problems with is how we were going to put the IV in the mannequin with no arms. But other than that, everything went really well. I did the North Decision Day, and there were some awesome gifts there, the refrigerator and the microwaves and laundry baskets, and it was really nice, the things that the student got. And I was able to attend the last music department spring concert, which was good. So kudos to North graduates and everything else. Thanks.
Director Beck?
I was able to go see Hairspray on Sunday, so it was their last show. A lot of talent at Central, and did want to give a shout out to the orchestras that competed last weekend. I think they all did really well, and I know just hearing my orchestra student come home and explain how excited he was with the performance that Central put together. It it was just it was so great to see him be part of this team that really accomplished something. So it's been since 2006, and if I think you guys got the only ones, all three judges that day, and so I think that was also something really impressive. So
Thank you. This side of the room. Director Poston.
I also attended the Adam Hart program along with President Klein Jerome. Again, hats off to the nurses that have been working on this and put this program together, and so that the West High can be designated as a safe designation with their drill. Also went to the bus ribbon cutting ceremony. I think the bus drivers and maintenance people are going to be very appreciative of what they have there for the bus barn and bus lot. And I think they were going to be moving in this week and starting to tear into the old building to start getting ready for the baseball field. And then I also went to the Taste Buds program at the Culinary Arts building at Scott Community College. And these are special ed students that participate. There were 3 from North, 3 from Central, and 3 from West. And this is a program that Scott Community puts on at no charge to the school district. And so thank you to them for putting that program on. They use their students to help mentor these students from our 3 high schools. And the only thing that any cost involved with the school district is just getting them there and back.
Thank you. No. Okay. I also attended Hairspray at Central. Fabulous. It was just unbelievable. I did the ribbon cutting at the transportation center. And it's more than just a bus lot. Yes, there's buses and bus drivers, but you've got the maintenance people and people who wash the buses and schedule the buses. And so that was really exciting. And the Project Adam Hart training, it was intense. You know, even though it was just, I referred to it as a dummy, and they told me it was, that's not. But anyway, it's very intense, and they've gone through a lot of training. The University of Iowa helicopter landed, and they put the patient in there, and phenomenal job. Thank you for everybody at West. I know the PE teachers and the nurses, and I'm not sure who else was involved, but there was a lot of people. The medics from the Quad City area came, the fire department, as if it were a real situation. So thank you for putting your time and effort into that and passing and getting certified in this training. And I think that's it. Open forum, I understand we don't have any. Okay, next up, consent agenda.
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the consent agenda as written.
And could I have a second?
Second.
I don't have to do this separately, do I? Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions?
When is the deadline to open enroll?
March 1st.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Committee reports. Breaking barriers, Director Hayes.
I have none at this time. Director Barnes, do you have any? None at this time.
Okay. Legislative advocacy, nothing. LZAC.
LZAC met on May 1st, and one of our primary objectives was to review the year-end data associated with the collaborative work we do with breaking barriers. As Superintendent mentioned, some of the information and data related to chronic absenteeism is looking really good. I think the LZAC committee members were impressed with that. One of the other things that I think is important to just reiterate at this meeting is that the LZAC has been involved in discussions about the athletic program, fine arts, deepening community engagement, and also they've provided feedback on the Portrait of a Graduate project. The one thing that I should mention on behalf of the committee, though, is that we are seeking to rebuild the membership of LZAC. We typically see a pattern where there's a drop off towards the end of the year in participation from community members, but we'd like very much so to engage more members of our community in the work of LZAC.
How many are on the committee? Do you know?
Well, the email distribution list is sizable. I think, Sarah, we had maybe 8 or 9 total people at the most recent meeting. And when I say sizable, we're talking probably 3 dozen people or so on the email distribution list. Is it accurate, Sarah?
Thank you.
Just to piggyback on that, I would say 8 or 9 people at the end of the year is a pretty good turnout. I couldn't even make it because.
Well, I stand corrected. We had a great crowd at the last meeting of LZAC this year.
Long range facility planning, Director Potts.
We met this last Friday. We reviewed the current condition and progress of the projects that are currently underway. And then we began a discussion of phase 2, which is the next chunk in things that we're planning on doing. We kind of reviewed the procedure and process we're going to use to engage the community and stakeholders in that planning process. It'll be similar to the one that we embarked upon when we did phase 1, though maybe not as robust. There's a timeline connected to it. There will be a presentation for the board that coming up this month, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, we're gonna put that forth to the agenda planning committee to get it on.
So there'll be a presentation on the phase 2 planning process.
Thank you. Policy we did not meet. Recognition. There will be a retirement breakfast for all staff that is retiring. So a little bit change of plans to hopefully get more people to come to the event. And we are looking at next year different ways to show recognition quarterly, over the year, and so on. So in the planning stages there. And finance, Director Poston.
We meet on Thursday.
Thank you. And next up, items requiring action. 10.01 College Connection Memorandum of Agreement, MOA, with Eastern Iowa Community College. Could I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board approve the College Connection Memorandum and Agreement of Eastern Iowa Community College for the 25-26 school year.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Curriculum resource adoption, Algebra 1 from HMH into Algebra. Could I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck?
I move the board approve the purchase of HMH into Algebra 1 subscriptions for digital resources and practice workbooks in the amount of $90,175.68.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 10.03 Professional Learning Contract HMH into Lit ELA. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck?
I move the board approve the purchase of, I move the board approve the professional development contract for HMH into Lit ELA in the amount of $143,400.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is Lexia Letters Training. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board approve the learning contract for Lexia Letters in a total amount of $186,480 for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? I actually do have a question. What is volume 2, phase 2, whatever? How is that different than 1? Is it going to involve every teacher in the elementary going through this? And are we adding one more thing that we said we weren't going to add anything with Amplify?
Thank you for that clarification and that question. So the letters is the continuation. So it's taking us 2 years to go through the entire letters training, volume 1 and volume 2, and then it's set in 2 units or modules within each of those. So this year we focused on letters volume 1. Next year will be volume 2, and then that will wrap up the entire learning series for letters. Typically you would want to try to do that in a year, but the way that our professional development calendar is sequenced, there just isn't enough time to get through the whole thing. And so the good news is that we've been able to go through the letters training, and then that application is happening right in sync with our letters or with our Amplify rollout.
And will this be done on professional development days, or will we have to pull them out of the classroom as was done years ago?
It's all scheduled for professional development days.
Great. That's good to hear. Anybody else? Questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, 10.05 Amplify CKLA. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the professional development contracts for Amplify CKLA in-person coaching, strengthening writing, and new teacher launch sessions in the total amount of $152,700 for the 2025-26 school year.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, 10.06 Proposal of New Meal Prices.
Madam President,
Yes, Director Potts.
I move the board approve the FNS meal prices for the 25-26 school year as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 10.07 Performance Food Service Contract for Bread and Buns.
Madam President,
Director Potts.
I move the board approve the Food Nutrition Services bread contract with Performance Food Services for a total of $62,473.40 for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is Lafredo Fresh Fruit and Vegetables Contract Renewal. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the Food and Nutrition Services contract renewal for 1 year for the fresh fruit and vegetable program with Lafredo for approximately $225,000.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions?
I do.
Director Beck?
Unlike most of our contracts, this is approximately $225,000. Why is this different from an actual? I'm sorry, Connie, I did not mean to make you come all the way to the front of the room. Just curious about how it works.
Gotcha.
This is actually a grant-funded program that we use in the elementary schools. There's about 10 schools that participate in this program. So it's based on a very specific amount that the grant gives us. And once that amount is done, then it's like completely over. So this school year, most of those programs ended in the month of April. And then there's some supply things that come out of that total funding as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Oh,
For the fruits, like you buy them in bulk in advance before the year. Is that what this is? I'm sorry.
We do not buy them in bulk at the beginning of the year. With fruits and vegetables, we have to kind of make a guess of what that produce is going to look like throughout the year. And right now, our oranges are really expensive because the crop that happened in California, they had some issues. So it's a variable rate. We only actually can plan our menus out for about a month or 2 months prior. So that's why there's some fluctuation in that as well.
I see.
so this motion did pass. Next up, 10.09 Papa John's Pizza Contract Renewal.
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the Food and Nutrition Services food contract renewal for 1 year with Papa John's for commercial pizza for approximately $102,000.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions?
I noticed that we have Papa John's and Little Caesars contracts up for renewal. Is there a reason for duplicate contracts, or they serve different purposes?
They're actually one contract that we use 2 vendors to supply us to. That was actually a recommendation from the student board that they wanted to have a little bit more variety. So the Little Caesars contract only supplies for the high schools. And again, that was just per recommendation of the student board members.
Thank you.
Cohen?
I second that.
See, you do have influence here.
Pizza, pizza.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same, opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, 10.10 Prairie Farms Contract Renewal for Milk.
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the Food and Nutrition Services contract renewal for 1 year for milk, plain and flavored, with Prairie Farms for approximately $775,832.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is 10.11 Atlantic Coca-Cola bottling contract for a la carte beverages.
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the Food and Nutrition Services contract renewal for 1 year for a la carte beverages with Atlantic Bottling for approximately $56,973.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is Little Caesars contract extension for pizza. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the food and nutrition services contract renewal for 1 year with Little Caesars for commercial pizza for approximately $60,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Going?
So I saw that this is much cheaper than Papa John's. Is there like, are they just more expensive, or I don't know?
The Little Caesars is only served in the high schools 1 day a week. Papa John's is served in the high schools 1 day a week, as well as intermediate buildings 1 day a week.
All right.
Any other questions?
In other words, the junior high school kids cannot eat high school kids when it comes to pizza.
Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up is 10.13, Performance Food Service Contract for Prime Vendor Food and Non-Food Supplies. Could I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the food and nutrition services contract renewal for 1 year for prime vendor with performance food services for approximately $1,555,596.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, but I do have a question. What falls under non-food supplies on this one?
That would include our chemicals for our dish machines, any chemicals that we use for cleaning, as well as paper products.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, 10.14, Food and Nutrition Services Freight Truck.
Madam President,
Director Beck.
I move the board approve the purchase of a 2026 E350 freight truck from Lindquist Ford for the amount of $57,795.10.
Could I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? It's a red truck, right, Josh? Okay. No. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, 10.15, Superintendent's Contract. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Poston.
move the board approve the superintendent's contract as proposed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none. All Josh or Jake, did I hear something?
No, not intentionally.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And finally, 10.16, approval of board secretary compensation.
Madam President,
Director Poston.
move the board approve the board secretary's compensation package as previously presented to the board. The pay raise goes into effect July 1st, 2025.
Second.
Director Barnes. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Wow, that was a lot tonight. Discussion items, geometry curriculum resource adoption.
Tonight we have Diane Campbell and Kim Awalt. They're going to describe to us the proposal that is on the table for tonight. Thank you guys for being here. I know this is an incredibly hard thing to do, and a lot of work is put into adopting a curriculum. So thank you for your hard work into it. I'll turn it over to you guys.
Thank you very much. So we're here this evening to review the geometry curriculum resource and the adoption process for the secondary math program. After a thorough review of the process involving teachers, instructional coaches, and administrators, we're recommending the 8-year subscription for HMH into Math Geometry Resource. And this was following our 6-phase curriculum adoption process that included preparing, getting our team together. The 3 teachers that were instrumental in helping not only implement the pilot and be able to give feedback were Laura Klimek, Emily Bush, and Kristen Malik. And again, just being able to get that feedback has been incredibly helpful. The research that we're looking at with the Into Geometry provides the powerful assessments in a very comprehensive curriculum resource that we're excited about, which provides also the best-in-class core instruction with intentional interventions and all the resources within one package. The professional learning that goes with this is also going to be instrumental to ensure that we have high fidelity of using the quality materials that are provided in the Into Math or Into Geometry resource. We also, at West and Central, were the 2 buildings that implemented the field test for us to be able to explore the Into Geometry to make sure that it was a good fit and a match for us for positive student outcomes. And as we piloted that plan, feedback was gathered, and Kim has done an absolutely tremendous job. And I hear from teachers just her assistance and response has been incredibly helpful to be able to make sure that geometry is ready to go. So with that, we're here this evening with this very last phase of being able to recommend the approval of the Into Geometry resource and the subscription for 8 years. And I also want to give Kim an opportunity to talk about the feedback that she received and the assistance that she provided within the buildings.
So with those 3 teachers that have had a chance to pilot, 2 of them actually just met with today because I happened to be at Central in the building all day. And they were just absolutely love the curriculum and being able to have a resource, first of all, and how well it's laid out, how easy it is to use the resources. They did mention that the rigor is much higher than what the students are used to. And so some of our work over this summer is really going to be able to evaluate what is in the curriculum, what should be considered for our general geometry course, and what should be considered for our honors geometry course. So we'll take a really close look at the standards and make sure that what is expected in a general geometry course is included, and then any of the extra will go with the honors courses. So we're also excited to be able to really differentiate between those 2 opportunities for students for geometry.
Are there any questions? Director Beck?
I have a couple quick questions. So the geometry is visual, but you, along with a lot of math, you learn really well by writing. Are there paper print resources that go with this, or is it all digital?
So the resources there's a classroom copy of a book, like it keeps in the classroom, right? The textbook would be in the classroom. And then the digital resources students can access. There's also print resources that they also can use and print off like a consumable. We chose not to purchase the actual consumable book because after speaking with the teachers that were piloting it, they said they didn't use them as much as they thought that they would, and they're pretty expensive for what they used it for, but they do have those in a PDF version so they can print them as needed if they want to use those consumables. But they are expected to write even though it's digital, if that's what you're asking.
Yes.
Yes, both.
Okay. Yeah. So it's just they're doing the writing part on just paper.
Yep.
Or they can print out a worksheet type situation. Okay.
Yep, but there's interactive tools on the computer, and then they also are expected to write as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Jake, do you have a question?
Yeah. Were there any other curriculum resources piloted or explored before piloting this one?
We went with this one because it's in the same series as our current algebra curriculum. So for strong coherence, this was the curriculum that made sense to make sure that we had connections between all of our courses.
And then it looks like the proposal has expired. have they extended the pricing, or do we expect any changes to that?
There shouldn't be changes. There shouldn't be changes.
There wouldn't be any changes.
That's a good catch. We need to double check that.
Mhm.
So we'll reach out. If there's any changes, we will bring that back.
Yep. We can contact him this evening.
Any other questions, comments? Director Poston?
I don't have a question on the geometry curriculum, but where do we stand as overall as far as replacing curriculum? Are we getting to the end of what we want to replace, or where are we at there?
I think that would be an excellent Friday report to update the original list of where we started with our curriculum adoptions and where we are. That started at the end of ESSER, and it's pretty comprehensive. So I think that would be a good Friday report. And if we think that's a good agenda committee item, we can put it there too. If you think.
We can put a report together, and the presentation also provided what we had previously adopted and then where we're at this year. And then we are on a 7-year cycle, so every year we're reviewing, but we certainly can map it out for the next, we're, I think, mapped out through 2030 of which ones we're reviewing. That doesn't mean that with each review that we would adopt a new curriculum. It all depends on what we find during that review process.
We're to the point where we're not playing catch up. Yeah.
I think there's a student board member. Yes.
I'd just like to speak on like the differentiation that's like going on between like the general geometry course and then the honors one. I think it's an excellent move to make because usually students pick honors for higher rigor, and a lot of our students need that added rigor. So it's nice that we have that option ready and like built in, and as we're like moving towards a new plan. So yeah.
Yes. Go on.
So something I've noticed in our math courses is the honors versions don't actually usually have new stuff per se. It's usually just slightly faster. If that even, sometimes it's not really even that. It's just more of students that are just good in the classroom. I think that this is very good because our students struggle in AP Calculus. And I know that happens everywhere, but I don't know how we compare to other places with that. But I do know that in the 2 years that I've kind of been around AP students at North, it's been very rough. It's one of the hardest classes in our school. So we need a honors path from the beginning to AP Calc for sure. And if this does allow more difficult math, I think that'd be good. And a question with this: does this program, how far does it extend? Does it go to Algebra 2? Like, what's the length? Like, where does that go?
Yeah, this particular series is Algebra, Geometry, and Algebra 2. And it would have options for honors in all 3 courses.
Okay, that's good. Because I think that if we did that, pre-calc would be much easier.
Thank you.
And just a point, I appreciate the questions on
Great input.
on the honors, and that is something that we've recognized, and it's not just in math but in all of our content areas. And so we're definitely, that is some great summer work. We have many teachers that are coming together this summer to work on curriculum, and that is one piece. So we'll have it all figured out in terms of this summer which honors courses will be able to get up and running to the rigor degree that was originally intended. So it's helpful to hear that students are asking for that, wanting that, and seeing a need for that in our district. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. Every student has to take geometry, right? Okay. Superintendent's report.
None this time.
Administrative reports.
Yes, Diane is going to give us a high school schedule update today.
All right. So this evening, or this afternoon, we did have our Phase 2 planning team meeting for the high school schedule. So I just want to provide a summary of what the team has been working on. So it's been a great team of teachers, coaches, counselors, administrators coming together. Phase 2 focusing on the 26-27 schedule. So in attendance today was Shannon Buckley, Brianna Moshman, Marshall Calloway, Tammy Asklin-Nagel, Angela Reeves, Katie Thofson, and Ben Katrina Hill, Leanne Anderson, Mike Orfatelli, Jessica Hankins, and Wayne Cable. So this team has really come together with ideas and solutions. We did our first topic today. We talked about when you have a block, what can come in behind the block. So automatically we think a block with a block for a semester course needs to be paired. But in the conversation, the team had brainstormed quite a few ideas of other things that can happen behind that block course to make a master schedule work. For example, having an independent study or a peer tutor structure. That garnered a lot of conversation around service learning and how might we be able to have a schedule for a student with a block, and if they had another block right behind it that was more around peer tutoring or around service learning, going to the elementary buildings and being able to provide support there, earning a credit with that would be one idea. Increasing our quarter courses, which we have a bank of those, and we know that the development of those quarter courses will assist with that, because you could pair that with a guided study hall, or you could do 2 quarter courses behind a block, and then that would match up, so avoiding schedule conflicts there. Service learning, teacher assistant, which we already have TAs in our system, and it's just, again, that's an opportunity for students to be of more assistance there. At North right now, we have a current model because we do have courses that are blocked there for the AA program, and thinking about the semester courses and breaking them into A, B, C, D term, and that way a student could enter in B term if they needed to, so within our music, and that has really reduced the number of conflicts. And so we have a quasi sandbox going on right now to explore that for as an option. So again, those are just some generated ideas that the team, again, very solution-focused team coming together to think about what that might look like to reduce conflicts within the master schedule, but also meet a really unique need for students. So the discussion also, we talked about, when you do things like this, it's the supervision and the staffing expectations. Also the difference between an independent study and individualized. So an independent study is if, a student has a full schedule and they want to take another course and it doesn't fit. I can take that class with Kim Awalt, and it is something that she would assist me with as an independent study, so I can still earn that credit from her. And individualized is more of a course that I have an idea, I have a project, I have a passion project that I want to do, and I want to be able to earn credit for it, and I'm actually doing a lot of research in the area of science. So, being able to increase the opportunities for students in that world. These are really probably options for more upper level courses as we discuss this, with the idea that coming in as a 9th grade student, probably being more strategic within that 9th grade schedule. 9th grade schedules, and this is true across the country, are pretty full. I mean, there's not a lot of wiggle room. And so we just need to be really intentional about what a 9th grade schedule looks like. It opens up a little bit more as a sophomore than juniors, seniors, probably have more of the different course durations. So those, and then the development of each of these ideas would take a little bit. So that's kind of in a nutshell what the team talked about today. We also did brainstorm last time around the data gathering and the feedback. And again, gathering information to inform our comprehensive system change. But research would also report that a schedule change alone is not going to impact our student outcome data. It is one piece to a very large puzzle. There's a lot of other things. Our biggest lever is going to be around instruction, that teaching and learning of what's going on. And so just as we're collecting information, which we typically, we are in a data routine, gathering our term grades, our pass-fail rate, our course enrollment. I mean, that's all data we currently collect right now. We'll continue to collect that. But again, noting that any differentiating piece of that data is not going to be a high correlation to just a high school schedule change. So that data, just getting very purposeful in our plan for feedback gathering was the next agenda item. And then lastly, the sandbox. We've mentioned that before about opening that sandbox for the 26-27 schedule using the current course requests that are in our system right now. But here's the master or the course masters that we have in campus, and then we'll start to populate those. So in June, our schedulers can start to use that sandbox to see what works and what doesn't work, and then be able to really identify any glitches that we might have, so we can kind of get ahead of the game. So that's where our phase 2 team is. It's been like I said, a great team to come together and really think about planning forward.
Any questions about it? Director Potts.
I think I don't mean to speak for everybody, but I'm going to speak like I'm speaking for everybody. Last couple of meetings, we've had a lot of people here with some strong opinions about what needs to be put back in the schedule or that kind of schedule changes. I think I would like to know if that's going to be if that's one of the things that's going to happen. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. We all know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. So for the 25-26 school year or the 26-27?
I believe in the conversations that we've been privy to that the proposed will be a change in 26, 27, because 25, 26 is what we are receiving some negative feedback from.
Yes. So 25, 26 is well on its way with master schedules. We had a March 28th date with our master schedules for our buildings. And so those are in progress for sure. The phase 2 team is coming together to say, what can we do in 26, 27? What's feasible within our high school schedule to bring back blocks and which block courses? So I would say that that's where we're at right now. So there's not been any final decisions, but it's getting input.
I would suggest that the people involved in that decision making be cognizant of the thoughts of the board when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we definitely would prefer to have those answers sooner than later too. And I think our sandbox in June will be incredibly helpful to see what's feasible within all courses and helping to assist with the classes for the 26-27 school year.
Anybody else? I have to say, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I do like the fact that we are using the administrative report to get this kind of feedback and information anytime we have. I mean, not just on this topic, but anything. I think this is a good use of that line in the agenda. Director Poston.
First, Director Potts, thank you for your comments. I echo what you have just said. To me, sometimes I look at this and it's just like we're in a fog. And I still don't know what we are going to end up with. I think we need to take respect what we've been presented to us from the public. And again, we always talk about transparency. We need to be transparent. I'm still not understanding why we can't make it work this year, but we can make it work next year. So I do have a board request in that we need to spend time on especially CTE and block schedule. And I expect something to be done over the summer. And when September 27th comes, I want an absolute clear proposal. None of this in the cloud fog. I'm done with that. I want something specific, and I want it nailed down.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. I appreciate that clarity. And we do have, for example, our course guide comes to the board in October. So we know that the course guide needs to be completed, which means that's also where our course duration is. And I think that as we're getting information and feedback and input from our phase 2 meeting team, that has been incredibly helpful. We also have our schedulers that are right there that are working within that realm to see what's doable within the schedule for 26, 27. So I definitely see, that path forward, and I hear your desire to have clarity about what that's going to look like sooner than later.
Thank you. Just a couple things before are there any board requests? Okay, before we move to board reflections, a couple things I want to point out. There is a signing at the Capitol Theater at 3:30 on Wednesday, and I think you all received the invitation. It's for apprenticeships. Thank you. I couldn't think of the apprenticeship signing at the Capitol Theater in downtown Davenport at 3:30 on Wednesday. And next week we have Project Search graduation on the 21st at 6. So if you don't have it on your calendar, please consider putting it on there. Board reflections. Director Barnes.
Just two quick things tonight. One, I'm sure we all agree that such an impressive group of students recognized for their scholarship and earning scholarships, and another opportunity to express gratitude to the foundation. Second thing, I know that all of the approvals that we talk about are curriculum approvals, but they also almost all represent professional development, investment, and continued education for our teachers. And I just think as we think about those approvals, which are big dollars, we're also making an investment in our teachers and instructors. Yes, the curriculum is for our students, but let's not overlook that very important investment also when we're approving those big dollar investments.
Director Potts.
Yeah, I think for me the highlight was all those students here with scholarships, all 3 high schools, mid-city, we must have a huge pie that these kids are able to access to help them get ahead and get a little lift up on paying for college. And more power to them. And the more the foundation can raise, the better it is for our students. And they're reading the names of who those scholarships are from. I'm thinking, oh, I know that part. Oh, I know that part. Oh, I know. So that gets back to my institutional knowledge. Yes, of all the my institutional knowledge of all the dead people that had money.
I meant to use the word legacy. That's okay. I know. Legacy would have been a better word. Yeah.
Director Poston.
I'll just echo what's been said as far as the scholarships, and I'm excited that that the foundation has hired Steve Aarons to head the foundation, and I feel confident that he will get the foundation headed in the right direction.
Thank you. Director Hayes.
Again, also the scholarships, and also so many of our student board members to receive the scholarships as well. I mean, true leaders. I really appreciate that. And also Diana's report. I like the update on where we are with the scheduling. So thank you and your team for that.
Director Ward.
Yeah, same. Extending my congratulations to all the scholarship winners and the new director for the foundation there. And it was good to see even on the geometry, there's a 6-phase implementation plan. So seeing how that's at work before it ever gets this far to the recommendation. So I just appreciate the work that goes into that from the teachers piloting it, as well as the people who are approving the curriculum. So thank you for all your efforts on those. And I think it's no small feat to get 16 things voted on tonight. So approved for the food and nutrition, and as well as some of the amplify and the other things. So thank you.
Director Beck.
Yeah, the scholarship ceremony is always amazing. The sheer number of students that are receiving scholarships in our district always just really impresses me. I love seeing that celebration, and yeah, the update on the scheduling is important. I think we do have some questions, or we as board members have questions, and so it's nice to get that update. And I lost my train of thought for that last one because I'm getting hungry. So
Thank you. Student board members.
All right, so 2 separate things here. The first one is I just love the amount of investments that's going into like curating our curriculum and like trying to improve it for our students. I love that. And I wish we would hear a little bit more and recognize the people who've been working on Portrait of a Graduate. I know that project is in some of its final stages of development, and we have so many stakeholders from every single part within the community, parents, students. Everyone has shown up for our students. And so it's like a reflection of the greater impact that the education students gets here, how it impacts their lives going forward. So yeah.
Well, congratulations, guys. We did it. That was a good ceremony. I do like that we're doing more electronic courses. I think that's a good idea.
I was very thankful to be recognized for the scholarships. That was really awesome. And I'm just very thankful for the opportunity that the foundation gives me and all these other children who want to go pursue a higher education. And I also really appreciate some of the board members' urgency in addressing the community concerns. That was very important to me.
I would also like to extend my gratitude to the foundation for choosing me and all of the other students to receive scholarships through them. It definitely will help out, and congratulations to my fellow student board members who also won a scholarship. And I will second that of the urgency that is being placed on community concerns within different things going on in the school. I appreciate that we're taking that into account, and I'm happy to be back. I missed a lot, and I'm glad to be here again.
Thank you. Superintendent.
The scholarship night's always a special night for me, but also May being board recognition. You look all across the state, and there are boards that have agendas. There are very malfunctioning boards, and there's nothing that can get accomplished when you're operating that way. This board is an award-winning board, I think 3-4 years running. You follow a set of norms. You are are not afraid to hold accountable. And I think this community has an excellent example of what a governing body is like, a high functioning governing body. And so you're easy to talk about institutionally. Sorry, I burst through that. But yeah, I think, and nobody calls when the grass is mowed, so you're not getting a bunch of, hey, good jobs. You're always getting the ones when it's not. So just know that you are appreciated, you are seen as leaders, and it's important. It's impactful. So thank you.
Thank you. Scholarship night, I think, is always a highlight of the school year, and to seeing so many students recognized for their time and their talent and their efforts. Student board members, I always appreciate your input. You have a perspective that us at this table do not have. So I appreciate that. And I also really appreciated that we had a board update here at the meeting versus on a Friday report. A Friday report does have its place, but sometimes I think it needs to be said right in front of us so we all hear the same thing. So anyway, with that being said, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Meeting adjourned.